Welcome to Dan's Messy Garage. Today I'm going to be working on my 67 Falcon Fiasco some more. Specifically carburetors. It's a tri-power setup, 3 1-barrel carburetors on a 200 cubic inch straight 6. It used to have Holley carburetors on the ends, some 1904 1-barrel Holleys. They kept leaking. I replaced them with these Chinese copies of an Autolite 1101. Runs good, except that it's too much carburetor. It runs rich. When you rev it up, you can see black smoke coming out of the tailpipe. When you're driving down a road and you hammer it, there's a black cloud that follows you, so it's running way too rich. These are the two Holley 1904s that I took off because they were leaking. They were leaking gas along the bottom of the float bowl on both carburetors. It's because these screws that hold the float bowl to the carb body, the ears are bent and the carb body's warped. It's metal to metal and there's not enough compression to seal that gasket. You can see here, that's just not right. So I'm going to take them apart. I'm going to sand down the float bowl surface, get that smooth. Do what I can for the carburetor mounting surface. I think I'll just have to do some filing on those ears and then make new gaskets. I got some 1/16 of an inch rubber cork gasket material, gasket punch kit, and let's get started here. I'll set you guys here. Hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I'm going to do one at a time. And I'll just do one on camera. I'm not going to bore you with the second one. It's all the same. Okay, first off, we got to take these 4 screws out of here. Of course, they're Phillips, and I got a flathead at the start of the video. Okay, now I got a Phillips. I thought I was a little bit prepared, but of course I wasn't. Okay, get these out. I'm not going to use fancy power tools. I'm going to do it by hand. Four screws. I think I can suffer through these without having to pull out a impact like they do on all the other videos. It's like nobody can work on anything unless they have power tools. I'm old school. I'm old and old school. Okay, one more. Okay, this float bowl should come right off. I don't anticipate any kind of problem. Might have to give her a whack here. Just like that. There's the old gasket that I need to replace. Doesn't appear to be stuck on there at all. That's wonderful. That's unexpected. Now this has a raised ridge around here that pushes on that gasket to seal it against this carb body around here. This carb body, I think the camera can pick that up. You can see this is, I'm getting where you can focus it. That is higher than here and there. So it's bent. And I'm going to have to file this boss down. I'm going to have to file that one down. You can see that sticking up. And this one. So 3 of them. This one over here where the gas line goes in is a bigger block, and that's not as warped as bad as those others. Okay. It's a pin right here to hold the float in. Simply pulls right out. The float will come right off. It's a brass float. Needle and seat right inside here. Now this should be a 3-piece configuration. Got a little brass pin. Get that where you can see it maybe. Whoops, don't want to drop it. A little tiny spring. And then the brass needle. It has a rubber tip on here. Looking at it, it looks good. I have to make sure that that's clean. When I put it back together, I gotta clean or blow out that passage. In fact, let me get some brake cleaner in there. I'll do that. Here we go. All right. The inside of this thing looks clean. I don't see any garbage. It's the main jet up there. It's a number 53. Memory serves. Yep. Nope. 52. It says number 52 on it. So, I don't know what size jet is in the other carburetor. But I had this car before. Ran it many years with these Holleys. And I don't remember them running rich like these Autolite copies are. So, I think I'm going to leave the 52 jets alone. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this carb float bowl thing. On my drill press, I have a piece of 220 grit paper. It's peel and stick. I'm going to put that on there and rub it around in like a figure-8 pattern. See if I can set you guys up here. And try to get that flatter. Cell phone, so it's not cooperating here. I'm trying to zoom in, but it's, well, there, that looks a little better. Okay, let's go in a put even pressure, go in a figure-8 pattern. Check progress. I can see shiny spots here, here, and over here. Not shiny in the other 3 areas. Turn it 180 degrees. It's looking better. Better already. I have shiny along here, not shiny there, shiny along here, a dull spot there. So I want to keep going until I get a shiny ring all the way around. Like I said, I can't hog this down because then I'll sand off that edge, and I need that to seal the gasket. Spin her around. Whoa, looking real good. Try a little circle action. I'm guessing before I even look at that it's good. Let's look together here. Yep, that's good. I got shiny all the way around. I'm gonna leave this alone. I'm looking at the bosses here. And I think I'm gonna have to file that one down a little bit. Stick it in a vise and file her off. Over here. See if I can get you guys where you can see this. Close enough. Well, do it this way. I don't want to squeeze it, smash it, break it. This one will hold it so I can flat file this a little bit. Just trying to remove some material from these ears so it'll allow clearance when you tighten the screws, that it doesn't come in contact like this now. You need a little gap in there to compress the gasket. Oh, not tight enough. I'm going to turn it around. I'm afraid to tighten this too much and break it, so. That one looks all right. Okay. Eyeballing, let's see. I think that's good. These sides could use some. Looks pretty good. This one ear here still seems high. See if I can get it in the vise this way a little better. That seems good. Nope. Yeah, that one is high. Let's see. Well, if I go back to this. I'm trying to like tilt the file a little so it grinds more on the outside edges, because that's where it's bent up. Let's see. That's looking a lot better. Maybe a little more on this one. Okay, I'm calling that good. So now, scan the mess. Back over here. Now look at this. This one over here is sticking up high. Looks like it's bent right up. I don't want to pound on that. Pound on it, break the casting, I'm screwed. I'd rather just file that down. I'm going to lose a little thread area, but I don't plan on tightening these things super tight. So, I'm going to try my luck at just filing this down here. Could pull out my fancy die grinder. Not a flap wheel, a 3-inch, what do you call it? One of these. Roll-lock, I think that's called. But I'm going old school. Going against YouTube, experts, because everybody on there, like I said, starts grabbing all kinds of power tools, and they got to make sure that they make a lot of noise. Yeah, right. Okay. I make enough noise just doing things here. I don't have to add all that. Can't really go across this way because this float thing's sticking up, and I don't want to take this apart, so I'll just continue what I'm doing. I'm going to go in this direction now. A little bit this way. Well, it's looking a lot better. Now this one I can go side to side on. Oh, I just did something wrong. Hey, you're doing that wrong. You're not supposed to file back and forth. You only go one. Yeah. You can go one direction every single time you file. But I'm going to do some this way, some that way. Here we go. Plus, I'm filing soft aluminum. I'm not going to dull the file, dragging it back across the teeth. It'll be fine. Just relax, guys. Here, I'll make you happy. Go one way. Of course, you can never make YouTuber audiences happy. All the YouTube audience people look at videos and then they become experts. They know what they're talking about because they saw other people do it. And somebody once said you're supposed to only go one direction, so now they're an expert. If they see you go back and forth, they're going to tell you you're wrong. Now, have they ever done anything themselves? No, they haven't. They watch videos and become experts. Okay. Rant over for now. That's looking pretty good. Let's put this on and see how bad it rocks. Oh, wow. Got a little bit of rock that way, none that way. Let's see if I can see if it's hitting. Yes, it's hitting right up here. I don't know if I can get the camera to show it, but there's no daylight through there here. But the sides, daylight showing there and over here. So these two here need some attention, and it's looking like it's this carb body that needs attention. So I'll continue. All right, do another test, see if it rocks. Nope. Oh, didn't have it on all the way. Hear that? You don't hear anything because it's not rocking back and forth. So now, when I make a new gasket and put it in there, I can lightly tighten those screws, not take an impact, you know, like they do. I'm just going to lightly tighten them by hand, compress the gasket a little bit to seal it. Okay, get that out of the way. Get all my metal filings off of here. Close enough. I'm going to take the old gasket. In my in-frame, that's good enough. Lay it on here. Trace around. I'm going to trace on the inside first. Okay. Whoops, moved a little. When I cut it, I'll have to straighten that line out. Okay. Outside, not as critical. Good enough. Okay, got an outline. Now I'm going to take gasket punch. It's got a spring-loaded pin and a round, tapered, sharpened cutter. I showed using this in another video on fixing a Johnson 6-horse outboard metal gas tank. I had to cut the rubber membrane because it wasn't cut correctly when I bought it. Aftermarket gasket kit. Okay. Get that to line up. I can probably just do this with my hand. Yeah, it's soft. And this thing's pretty sharp, so. One, get this other corner, corner two. Close enough. Looks good. And the last one. Okay, that's looking good. Got some rounded corners. I'm gonna take a utility knife and cut them out of there. You always want to cut the inside and the holes out of your gasket first before you start to do the outside. It just kind of holds everything together for you while you're cutting and removing the unneeded sections. This is easy to cut. I'm going slow along here because that's a thin outside section here and I don't want to wreck it. This one, I can go a little faster because it's got more material here to hold it. Okay, that's out there. Now, this regular old scissors cuts this stuff easily. Very easy. Okay. Round the corners off because they fit inside recesses on the carb body. If they overhung the body, then you wouldn't have to round them. You can leave them stick out square. Okay, now I do a little test fit and find out where I need to trim more because I didn't trim exactly on the line. I was trying to leave it a little bit bigger so that I could trim again. Because if I cut it too short to begin with, then I'd have to start over. You know, from scratch. But this way, I have it and I need to trim one long edge and one short edge. Get my scissors here. Not taking much off at all. I'd rather have to do this a couple times than remake the whole gasket. And one one short edge. Well, you can see I didn't really follow that line, so if I follow it now, it might fit in there. Okay. Put that in. Wow, fits good. Look at that. Right in place. Okay, so now we gotta set the needle back in there. Okay. Put a little spring inside the brass holder with the rubber point. Little plunger and the spring. Drop that in there. Get in there. Looks like I got, nope, I was gonna say, I thought I was gonna have to take the gasket all the way off first, but I just had to move it out of the way. What's going on here? Okay. Float goes in like that. Pin should just slide through there. The gasket keeps falling off. Okay. Now that pin sticks out, but it can't fall out once the float bowl's on there. And to set the float level, you want the float be parallel to the bottom, or in this case, top of the carb body. See, this carb goes on this way. So when the gas comes into the float chamber, it makes the float float. Haha, very funny. And then when the floats go up, it pushes this needle into the seat and stops the flow of gas into the float bowl. Now I want to have my float level a little lower than it is here. So I do that because ethanol fuel, my opinion, tends to whatchamacallit, not percolate, but there's a term for it, vapor lock, easier than non-ethanol fuel. But in this car I don't run non-ethanol, I run 87 regular pump gas fuel. So I'm going to lower the float a little, not a lot, just a little. And I already lost my little pin. You know, somebody in video is probably yelling at me right now, telling me where it is, but I was yakking and not paying attention when I yanked it out of there. So now I gotta find it. Oh, the fun and joy of making a YouTube video. Not being prepared. Well, I am not seeing it, folks. And I drop it. Is it in here somewhere? No. Mystery, mystery, mystery. Well, hang on. I gotta get a magnet and go fishing for it. I got a magnet. I'm gonna poke around. It may have rolled under something here on my workbench. I know I'm making a lot of noise in front of the camera. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'm sure you figured that out by now. Let me go fish down. Oh, is that it right there? Wow. Was that laying there all the time, guys? Okay, whatever. Push on. All right, so I put this float in here, slide the pin in. And I can see I didn't bend that very much, or not enough. So that little finger or tab is where the float pin or needle, float needle hits. And I'm bending that down, making that distance smaller here, which will drop the float level in the carburetor a little. I do it small increments. Should just take this gasket off until I'm ready to put it on, but I think I'd rather just have you guys yell at me in the background there about all the stuff I'm doing wrong. There, see, now that's not quite parallel. Doesn't look like I moved it a lot, but it's enough. Enough to satisfy me. Okay, jets in, floats in, pins in, needles in. All shavings are out. Whoop, put the float ball on the right way. This way. If you flip it over, these two outside screws don't line up, so that looks good there. 4 Phillips head screws. And this will be ready to install on the car, and then I can check for leaks. Just want to get these touching first, all 4 just start to make contact to squeeze the gasket a little, and then I'll go around or side to side, end to end, up and down, back and forth, to spread out the torque evenly. And I am not going to tighten these hard, because I think that's part of the problem. People in the past have tightened them too much, squished everything, bent the ears, caused it to leak. See, I'm just going snug in a little bit. I can kind of feel it compress the gasket. That's all I want. Okay, now we're going to do a fancy torque to spec here. 2 fingers. I'm not going to wrist it. Just going to couple fingers. That one didn't move much at all at last click. Okay, they're torqued to factory specs. That thing's ready to go on the car. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned at least a little bit. And I'm pretty confident that these aren't going to leak anymore. I just have to do this other carb. But like I say, I'm not going to bore you doing the same thing over and over. So, have a nice day. Bye.